She was just a housewife. That's what they called her, right to her face sometimes. It was always said with a little smile, a gentle pat on the shoulder, as if it were a compliment. But she knew what it meant. No job, no income. No real value in a world that measures worth in dollars and cents. To them, her days were a blur of laundry, dishes, and waiting for the kids to come home from school. An endless cycle of domestic tasks that, in their eyes, amounted to, well, nothing. Her life from the outside looked comfortable, simple even. A nice house, a loving family. What more could she want? But inside, a quiet storm was brewing. The label, just a housewife, felt like a cage, slowly shrinking around her. The dismissal in their voices, the assumption that her brain had gone soft from watching daytime TV, it was a constant low-level hum of disrespect. She'd sit at family gatherings, listening to everyone talk about their promotions, their business trips, their challenging projects. And when the conversation turned to her, it would be a polite, "So, how are the kids?" As if her entire identity was an extension of her family. She never argued. She never raised her voice. What was the point? They wouldn't understand. How could she explain that running a household was like managing a small, chaotic, and chronically underfunded corporation? That she was the CEO, the cook, the janitor, and the head of HR all rolled into one? That her job had no office hours, no weekends off, no paid vacation? It was a 24/7 role with no performance reviews, only a constant, unspoken expectation of perfection. Her work was invisible, consumed the moment it was created. A clean floor is only noticed when it's dirty. A stocked fridge is only appreciated when it's empty, so she smiled and nodded. But a fire was lit. It wasn't about proving them wrong, not at first. It was about proving something to herself. That the woman who existed before the marriage, before the children, the one with dreams and ambitions, was still in there. She just needed to find a way to let her out. The house would fall silent around midnight. The kids were asleep. Her husband was snoring softly beside her. This was her time. The world outside was dark, but her world was illuminated by the soft glow of a laptop screen. While everyone else recharged for their real jobs, her second shift was just beginning. She started small. Online courses in digital marketing, webinars on e-commerce. She devoured tutorials on graphic design, coding, and search engine optimization. Her browser history was a strange mix of recipes for school lunches and articles on blockchain technology. The house, which they saw as her entire world, became her secret university. The kitchen table, once covered in crayon drawings, was now her command center. Failure became her closest friend. A lot of failure. The first online store she launched sold exactly 3 items, 2 of which were to her own sister out of pity. The first freelance writing gig she landed paid so little it barely covered her coffee budget for the week. There were nights she'd close the laptop, tears of frustration blurring her vision. The voice of doubt whispering, "They're right, you're just a housewife. What were you thinking?" But then she'd look at her sleeping children. She'd think about the condescending smiles, and the fire would roar back to life. She wasn't just doing this for herself anymore. She was doing it for them. To show her daughter that a woman could be anything she wanted to be, a mother and a mogul. To show her son that a woman's work, whether paid or unpaid, has immense value. Slowly, painstakingly, things started to shift. A failed business taught her about market research. A difficult client taught her about negotiation. Every mistake was a lesson. Every late night was an investment. She started a new project, a niche she'd discovered through her endless research. It was a simple idea, but it was hers. She built the website from scratch, designed the logo, wrote every word of copy, and managed the social media accounts from her phone while waiting in the carpool line. For the first year, it was a trickle. A few sales here, a small profit there. But she kept going. She refined her strategy, learned from her analytics, and reinvested every penny back into the business. She operated in the shadows, her secret life tucked away in the quiet hours of the night. Her family noticed she was tired, but they chalked it up to, being a mom. Then, one day, the trickle became a stream, and the stream became a river. An article in an online magazine. A mention from a popular influencer. Suddenly, her little project wasn't so little anymore. Orders poured in. The numbers on her screen started to have commas in them, real commas. The first big change happened at a family dinner. Her brother-in-law was talking about his struggles to get a down payment for a new house. He was complaining about the banks, the market, everything. Without thinking, she said, "I could help with that." Silence fell over the table. Everyone stared. Her husband looked at her, confused. She calmly took out her phone, showed him a number in her business account, and said, "I can cover it." Just the loan. The look on their faces was something she would never forget. It was a cocktail of shock, disbelief, and a tiny dawning glimmer of respect. The brother-in-law stammered his thanks. The rest of the dinner was different. For the first time, they asked her about her day, and they listened. Really listened. It was the same house, the same woman. But suddenly, everything was new. Her late nights weren't a mystery anymore. They were a sign of her incredible work ethic. Her tiredness wasn't just being a mom. It was the mark of a driven entrepreneur. Funny how money changes opinions, isn't it? The title, Just a Housewife, was quietly retired, replaced with hushed, admiring whispers of, "She runs her own business." But here's the thing she knew, the secret she held in her heart. The money didn't create the value. The value was always there. The effort existed long before the first dollar was earned. It was there in the sleepless nights, in the quiet determination, in the courage to try and fail and try again. It was there in every meal cooked, every tear wiped away, every load of laundry folded. The money didn't make her worthy. It just made her work visible to those who refused to see it before. So I have to ask you, is unpaid work still real work? What is the true measure of a person's contribution? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Thanks for watching, and if this story resonated with you, be sure to like and subscribe for more.